Good afternoon, everybody. I'd like to welcome all of our residents who have joined us today at this town hall meeting, where we're going to provide an update on public infrastructure projects and commercial development. I also want to thank our panel members, who I will introduce now. So when I introduce you, just wave your hand so people can also see your face and your name, and then they can actually see who you are. So first, I have several of our town employees joining me today, and we have Rena Bacalar, the town's Economic and Community Development Director, George Estrada, our Public Works Director, William Maurer and Tatiana Solove, our town engineers, Rob Labrandy, I'm not sure he's here with us yet, but he will be joining us. He's our town planner. Megan Murphy, our town's fire marshal. Bob Dunn, our town building official. And Bill Chin's here always with us. Bill, give us a wave, our IT director who keeps us going every day in Trumbull. So also on our panel today, we have Gary Sorge from Stantec, and he will be joined by Kent Gannon at one point here, and Fred Machia from Tigam Bond. We have Matt Folder from MetroCog, and Dan Onofrio from the Bridgeport Regional Business Council. So as you probably can see, it takes many partners and a great deal of effort to keep our public and private developments moving forward. And certainly with the challenges brought by COVID, everyone's extra efforts are much appreciated. So thank you all for joining us here today. We've had a number of these virtual town hall meetings over the last several months to keep the public informed about different issues and important developments in town. I am committed to good communication and sharing information. This town hall meeting is intended to provide an overview of the status of a number of approved projects underway in Trumbull. We will get into the details of those projects, which include on the public side, the traffic and trail crossing on traffic light and trail crossing on Route 111, the traffic light and other improvements in Long Hill Green, the trail connection on White Plains Road through Trumbull Center, and the Strobel Road project. The approved private development update will include the new commercial plaza at 965 White Plains Road, the redevelopment of the former Marissa's restaurant site, the 10 Trumbull and Resort Lifestyle Community Developments on Oakview Drive, and the Woodside development on Reservoir Avenue. You will also receive an update on Amazon, Image First Healthcare Laundry, Power Home Remodeling, and Make-A-Wish, Connecticut. All of these projects help enhance safety, the quality of life in Trumbull, and our economic vitality. It's important that we discuss these projects so the public can see and understand how these projects will improve the town and how they are being done carefully and safely. Rena Bacalar will be our MC and guide us through the meeting. But first I want to touch on a couple town updates. About COVID. Trumbull presently has 605 residents who have tested positive for COVID-19, and a total of 125 of our residents have passed away. 375 of those who tested positive have recovered or are recovering. 104 of the people who died were residents of our long-term care facilities. I always ask that you please keep these families in your thoughts and prayers. The rate of new positive COVID-19 cases in Trumbull continues to remain steady, which of course is good news. Our schools are back in session, and I want to express my appreciation and gratitude to our teachers and staff as they return to school in these uncertain times. I also want to thank our parents and students for their assistance. The Trumbull Library on Quality Street will reopen on Monday, September 28th with limited hours. Preparations are ongoing to ensure everyone's health and safety when the library reopens. Curbside service at the main library will also continue for the foreseeable future. More information on the reopening will be available later this week. This meeting today is being recorded for broadcast on Trumbull Community Television, Channel 194 Spectrum, Channel 6019 Vantage, and will also be available on video on demand on the TCT TV website and on YouTube for those who want to watch or rewatch the meeting. So I look forward to doing more of these forums, and we're going to plan to do the next one during the evening at some point in order to accommodate more residents. Now I'm going to turn the program over to Rena Bakalar.
Thank you, Vicki, and thank you again, everyone, for being here. I just want to echo what Vicki said. Comments. It takes a lot of partnership and a lot of effort to keep things moving in any time, and especially in these extraordinary times that we're in. So the public should know that the staff team, our consultants, we meet on a regular basis. We have team meetings associated with Long Hill Green. We have team meetings associated with the project up on Route 111. Megan Murphy, our fire marshal, she runs a monthly construction meeting for all of the key departments so that we can stay communicating and working and facilitating positive and safe, to Vicki's point, positive and safe development. So my thanks to everyone. We're going to start the program by focusing on the status of some of our public infrastructure projects. The first project we're going to talk about has a number of components, and it is the Route 111 traffic light, the trail crossing, and some enhancements on Spring Hill Road that are all part of a grant that the MetroCog, we have Matt Fulda, the Executive Director of MetroCog, which is our regional planning agency, worked with us on. And Bill Maurer, our town engineer, is really our boots on the ground. And we have our consultant, Fred May, joining us, and they will tell us a little bit about where that project is going and the scope of the project so the public can understand that. There's going to be an opportunity for question and answer at the end of the program, and so we will turn now to their presentation.
Thank you, Rena. I'd like to introduce Fred Mesha from Titan Bond, who has been our consultant for the Route 111 traffic signal and crossing. If you could take over, Fred, show your presentation.
Okay, I'll take over and I'm gonna share my screen. Trying to share my screen.
There you go.
Okay, do you see the large aerial map?
Yep.
Okay, so just to orientate everybody with the project, this is Route 111 running north from the Route 25, continues on up into Monroe. There's two components to this project. One is the relocation of the existing trail crossing over at Old Mine Road. And the second, and the major part of it, is installing a traffic signal at the shopping center driveway at this location here. And we're doing a little bit of minor improvement to the driveway at the condos up in this location here. I'm going to switch screens, if it lets me do that.
Yeah, you have to close that, I believe, and open the other.
Stop sharing. Now I'm going to share this other screen. Oh, yes, that's it. So this is the same orientation. Route 111 is twisted so it fits on the drawing. Runs from Route 25 north to Monroe. So what this plan shows is a full signal configuration at this location in the shopping center. It's showing some restriping of Route 111. And basically, when the trail currently comes out of Old Mine Road and crosses 111 and continues on up north towards Spring Hill Road, we're relocating it to the east side of 111. In this location here, it shows up as a tan color. It'll cross at the signal and then continue back down 111, make a curve and interconnect with the existing trail crossing. There are some improvements we have to make to the driveway to the shopping center. There's some improvements along 111. Basically, we were widening in 111 about 4 feet to accommodate the lanes. So there'll be 2 lanes running north, as well as a turning lane into the shopping center. 2 lanes running south, as well as north. There's a turning lane to go into the condo project. And then the project eventually tapers back to existing condition. Once the project is constructed, all the areas that you see shaded in gray will be milled and re-overlaid. So we'll permanently get rid of the old paint striping that's been there for a number of years. As part of the project, there's a small retaining wall along this property here to retain the earth so that the walkway could be constructed. On both sides of the road, the trail will be set back from the roadway. On the east side, it's back, I believe, 6 or 7 feet. On the west side, it's set back even further. The final design of the trail curves out a little bit, so we have more green space between the roadway and the trail. Part of that was to give separation. The other part of it was to avoid a lot of utility poles. If we put the trail along the roadway, we were looking at 8 or 9 utility poles that would have had to been relocated. The project was submitted to the DOT around the beginning of the year. We had gotten review comments back from them just about when the pandemic struck. We've been going through revising the plans, addressing all DOT comments. So we basically took the plans from a 30% design that the DOT reviewed, both the district office for the highway improvements, Newington for the traffic engineering to prove the signal. And we're just cleaning up a few loose ends, and we'll be resubmitting those plans, a 90% completion, back to the DOT. If not this week, it'll probably be next week. And it's on an expedited review process. We started a project in October. We'll probably be under construction April of 2021, which is about 18 months. Normally a signal project is 2 to 3 or more years in the design and review process from DOT. The town actually met with the DOT commissioner way back in the beginning and, requested that they undertake an expedited review, and DOT has been so far living up to that commitment to expedite the review. The 90% plans will be reviewed and probably more comments come back, which is typical, but we expect the plans to be completed by the end of this year so that they can be submitted by Matt and the MetroCog to the DOT for final funding, get authorization to bid the project, and we're hoping that it can be an early bid in January, February for construction start, probably April, May, when the season starts again. And everything should be hopefully wrapped up about this time next year or into October. Temporarily last winter and early spring, we had gotten, we upgraded the existing crossing for Old Mine Road for the trail. And that was put in with what is called a rapid flashing beacon signal. And that was a town project funded by the town. As part of this project, the DOT will help pay to decommission that, basically pay to remove that equipment. What we're gonna do, I'm not sure if it's on this drawing set, we're gonna relocate that over to the trail crossing at Spring Hill Road. The trail crossing on Spring Hill Road is a little bit south of the transfer station. It's right at the driveway to the bus terminal, the school bus terminal. So as part of that, we're gonna move the trail, because right now when you come up the trail, you cross Spring Hill Road. The trail shares the driveway with the buses for about 150 feet. Then it veers off and continues on its own. This project will relocate that a little bit to the west or south, depending which way you look at the map, so that it's not shared with the bus driveway. And what we'll do is take some of the equipment that was recently installed at the existing crossing and relocate it to this location here. And not part of this project, but another project the town is doing is actually improving access to the transfer station. I can just quickly go to that plan. Just to get everybody orientated, the transfer station, this location here, the bus terminal, the existing trail for Spring Hill Road is here. What we're doing as a separate project is improving the traffic access into the transfer station, because we know on Saturdays in the spring and fall, when people are doing a lot of yard cleanup, traffic is horrendous there. There's a queuing issue that people can't get into the transfer station, blocking Spring Hill Road. So what this project will do, will create turning lane into the transfer station, through traffic, through Spring Hill Road. If anybody comes down Treefold Drive to go to transfer station, there'll be a queuing lane off Spring Hill Road to go into the transfer station. So what this project will do is provide throughway traffic on Spring Hill Road at all the peak times at the transfer station, sees heavy users from the residents.
Thank you, Fred.
And that's pretty much the Spring Hill and Route 111 trail signal projects.
Great. Are there any other staff comments regarding these projects before we move on to Long Hill Green?
I think we can move on to Long Hill Green at this moment.
Okay, so some of the folks tuning in might remember that we did a Long Hill Green improvement plan that was adopted, village improvement plan, I should say, that was adopted in 2018. And that plan is really a vision for how to enhance the quality of life and the economic vitality of Long Hill Green. And it prioritized a number of projects. And what we say a lot in meetings and internally is this is not just a plan on a shelf. We're using it as a roadmap to apply for funding and to implement projects to improve that area. So Gary Sorge is with Stantec and Bill Maurer, again, our town engineer, have been part of the team. Again, we have a monthly meeting of this team, and Gary's going to review some of the projects that actually were completed and some of the projects that are in design and or under construction. So I'll turn it over to you and Bill now.
Okay. Thank you all. I just want to confirm that folks can see a Long Hill Green slide.
No.
No? Okay. Bear with me a sec. Bill, is there a prompt that you should be, anything I need from you?
So at the bottom of your screen, there's a share screen button.
Okay, here we go. I just had to scroll down. There we go. Sorry about that, folks. It's just hiding on my. Okay, can folks see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, well, thank you. Sorry about that. I just had to scroll down a little bit on my own laptop. Well, thank you, Rena, for the introduction. As you recall, Rena had mentioned back in 2018, the town adopted a Long Hill Village Green Plan. From that plan, a number of key topics were identified: connectivity, traffic and parking, placemaking, and of course, improving the business activity within the area. Landscape and aesthetics, very important. Looking at the utilities, space programming, and zoning. But what we're going to talk about today primarily is traffic and parking, placemaking, and very importantly, connectivity. So a couple of projects are underway and some have been complete. The Broadway South Stormwater Quality and Parking Enhancements was completed back in 2019 in construction. This is the area right in front of Franco Gianni's restaurant. As part of the Long Hill Green Plan, distinctive pavement was placed between the buildings and the restaurants and the existing green to improve stormwater. And this is a 319 grant that the town was successful in acquiring. And it basically takes existing asphalt pavement out and put in a pervious surface, which allows water to infiltrate, penetrate into the ground, and improve water quality within the Paquonic River watershed. And now that we have these extended sidewalks and patios, you have outdoor dining. Couldn't be more timely in this period of COVID for the local businesses. And with that, we had parking enhancements as well. So people are enjoying this as we speak. So ongoing projects include the Main Street sidewalks and also the Main Street and Whitney Avenue traffic signal, and then the Whitney Avenue sidewalk connection to the PRT. There's a phase 1 portion and a phase 2 portion. Phase 1 is currently underway. So we'll go through these individually. So as you see the three red, the red, the yellow, and the green bars on top, these will indicate where the projects are within the Long Hill area. The roadway that you're seeing running east-west, left to right across your image is Main Street. And then to the right, going up to the top right-hand corner of the image is Whitney Avenue. So the Main Street sidewalks essentially follow the red outline here. They'll run from Gisela Road all the way up to the intersection of Whitney and Main. And then also on the east side of the street from the northern limit of the former Marissa site back up to the Whitney and Main intersection. And we'll cut back Whitney Avenue and hook up with Broadway. So what you're seeing here in red generally outlines the location of the Main Street sidewalks. In yellow, you're seeing the area that will comprise the traffic signal improvements at Main Street and Whitney Avenue. Now, the town has already completed the right-hand turn lane on Whitney Avenue, which is essentially a precursor to having a signal placed here. And the traffic improvements are already have been the benefits. You're already seeing the benefits of that right-hand turn lane again, which has already been installed. And then we also have the Whitney Avenue sidewalk. This is the phase 1 area that essentially takes the sidewalk that currently terminates at Long Hill Green and will extend that sidewalk along Whitney Avenue down to Dunellen Road. Phase 2 will continue that sidewalk along the eastern side from the eastern edge of Dunellen Road down to the roadway that defines the gateway to the Paquonic River Trail. So the Main Street sidewalks are being funded by a Connecticut DOT Community Connectivity Grant. Again, the town was successful in applying for that grant. It is currently, final design review is complete by Connecticut DOT. Flood management certification is pending, and we expect that to be complete very shortly. Property easement and acquisition is underway by the town. Construction is anticipated to begin in the spring of 2021, and the estimated cost of this project is roughly $310,000. So this will include the sidewalks on Main Street that we had shown. They were outlined in red on the previous exhibit. Here they're shown in green, just to confuse you. So it brings you from Gisela up to Whitney Avenue, and then you see that sort of zigzagging pattern on the east side of Main Street. So the connectivity that was discussed in the Long Hill Green Plan is certainly being addressed here. This will connect many residents and businesses to Long Hill Green. And these were noted as priorities during the preparation of that plan. The photos along the top, residents of Trumbull are very familiar with. These are just sections of the roadway along Main Street where the sidewalk will be installed. So we also have the Whitney Avenue and Main Street sidewalk signal. Final design review is complete. Connecticut DOT traffic review is underway. And the property easement and acquisition also involved here at the signal is currently underway, and that's being led by the town. Construction of the signal is also anticipated in the spring of 2021. And the estimated cost of this work is about $535,000. So again, the design is well underway. The easements and the acquisition and the final traffic review by the state is still pending. And this is the area of the signal. So the signal is shown right there in the center of the illustration. That's Main Street and Whitney Avenue. And then you're seeing some of the traffic lane configurations that have to be accommodated to make the signal work. So as you're approaching from 111 or from Route 25 to the left, as you're approaching Whitney Avenue, you'll have a left-hand turn option and the option to continue through at the signal. You'll have a crosswalk at this signal. It is located on this side based on direction we received from the police department. Perhaps in the future it becomes a full 3-part crosswalk, but initially it'll be a 2-part crosswalk, crossing Whitney Avenue and also crossing Main Street. One of the benefits of this scheme is it allows us to reduce one of the curb cuts on the western side of the road. The western side of the road is the lower edge of Main Street. So we'll have some consolidation of curb cuts, which should improve safety, visibility, and access to the neighboring properties. And again, you can see on the top, Whitney Avenue coming into Main Street, the right-hand turn lane that's already been constructed. And the photo on the top left is looking from the nearby property across Main Street to Whitney Avenue. So from this location, you will see the signal heads when they are installed in 2021. Then we have the Whitney Avenue sidewalk. So the phase 1 bids were received in July of 2020. They were favorable. The town is commencing construction this month. There might be work that you've seen already underway, and construction will be complete within 100 calendar days. So this fall, phase 2 design is underway. This is essentially the location. This is the stretch of Whitney Avenue from top left-hand photo is looking from Dunellen up to the Long Hill Green. It's steep. The terrain is quite steep. So it's going to take a little bit of craftsmanship to get this, to work the sidewalk into this location because you have, again, steep slopes to deal with and some vegetation and also traffic. The photo in the center is looking from the top, from Long Hill Green, essentially at the end of the sidewalk, down looking east on Whitney Avenue. And then the photo to the top right is the driveway that connects into the development, again, leading off to the right. And the lower image is an engineered plan. It shows the extent of the sidewalk from Long Hill Green down to Dunellen, and it's showing that we have terraces. I know it's an engineered drawing, but the next illustration will help. We need to terrace the terrain here to allow the sidewalk to be constructed. So we'll have safer conditions for pedestrians. We'll have means to remove snow from the sidewalk and store it on the upper slope. And with the loss of trees and tree removals that are going to be required to do this, with the trees overhanging the roadway, we'll create a terrace landscape that will allow the town and the contractor to replace vegetation, which will mature over time and will create a very beautiful setting for Whitney Avenue. So what you're seeing on the left is the existing condition, and the rendering on the right shows the proposed condition shortly after construction is complete. And that concludes the Long Hill Green update. So, back to Rena.
Thank you, Gary. Just one note on the sidewalk that's under construction now going down Dunellen. For folks that are watching, please check our website for updates on that construction. And we'll be communicating any lane closures and things like that that will be coming. I know our town engineering department is very good at getting those out. So just stay tuned. That portion of the project is funded through a Main Street improvement grant through the Connecticut Department of Housing. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. So I'm going to turn the program now over to Bill Maurer, again, our town engineer, who's going to talk about both the Trumbull Road project and where that stands, and also the trail connection through Trumbull Center on White Plains Road. So it's all yours, Bill.
Thank you, Rena. Trumbull Road, as you were just past a year into this project, is actually way ahead of schedule based on the anticipated completion date, which would have been better than 2 years. We expect to be finished paving by the end of the paving season this year. Currently, most of the utilities have been relocated. We have another section of roadway that has to be lowered. In the next week, they'll be starting to reclaim sections of the last, 2 of the last 3 sections that have to be reclaimed. It's actually way ahead of schedule. It's surprising how the schedule worked out because of the pandemic, and the school closure had actually helped this project move along a little faster. Fred, I would like to, do you have anything that you could show on the plan?
Well, I have the staging plans, which I can just briefly go through the actual progress of where we're at. Let me share that screen again. Can everybody see the aerial drawing up?
No.
Share now. Okay. We divided the road into 3 segments. Stage 1 was from Daniels Farm Road to Chatham, which is shown on this drawing here, this area. Stage 2 was from Chatham to Stoneleigh, and stage 3 was from Stoneleigh to Booth Hill Road. And also in stage 1 includes improvements to Daniels Farm Road. So like Bill had mentioned, the project got off to a little bit slower start because of the bidding. It was supposed to start early May of 2019. It didn't get underway until September, but coupled with the fact that it was a very mild winter, the contractor never stopped at all during the winter. And once the winter season is normally from December through March. When the winter season was over, the pandemic hit, so the schools were closed. So he basically will be completed 99% of the project by Thanksgiving, whereas normally it would have been early summer of 2021. So, unfortunate about the pandemic, but it allowed the contractor to get in there and work. I mean, there were still road closures because of the nature of the work he was doing, but just to let everybody know, the stage 1, including Daniels Farm Road, the signal is in place. The signal is operational. This stage from Daniels Farm Road to Chatham has final pavement down. I'm going to switch to the next sheet, which is the middle section of the road, which includes the large box culvert. If anybody drives through there, the culvert is in place. We had a temporary signal over the summer for about a month while they were doing the culvert work to allow alternating traffic. The culvert is in place. They're still doing cleanup work on the head walls, but the road's open to 2-way traffic after hours and on weekends, so there's no more obstruction. The areas that Bill was talking about, there's a couple sections in here where we're cutting the road grade a couple feet to improve the geometry. And that work will be going on next week and follow for the next couple weeks. The third stage of the road is from Stoneleigh to Booth Hill Road. This road has the binder course of pavement down. The second course will come down later. Probably once they get the binder course on the middle section, then they'll do final course on stage 2 and 3. There still will be some detours, but it'll be minor detours when the contractor's doing the reclaiming or the paving. Project's been pretty much, like Bill said, on track and way ahead of schedule. Contractor has been very, very responsive to any issues that have popped up. All the utilities relocated. There's quite a bit of work involved getting this project, just so the public knows that this project was many years in the making, and the final product is a $6 million roadway reconstruction project. There has been some interruptions of travel through there, but they've been minimized, and I think this has worked out very well for the town. Much needed roadway improvement for the town of Trumbull.
Great. I just want to mention that when our teams are meeting, and Chief Lombardo had something very important to attend to, he was going to join us today, but all of us discuss the interrelationship of these projects and how they impact traffic and detours and all of that. So that kind of planning is being considered. And also I want to just give Matt Folda, again, the Executive Director of the MetroCog, a thanks for funding, helping us to identify funding for many of the projects that you're hearing about, particularly the roadway projects. So Bill, it's back to you for the Trumbull Center Trail connection.
Yes, if you've gone through
Rena,
Trumbull Center in the
excuse me one
morning,
sec.
you'll,
Hold on one second, I'm sorry, just to interrupt, just to also say that the Chestnut Hill Road and Moose Hill Road were also funded through MetroCog as well. We don't want to forget those two roads, which have been completed.
and hopefully we'll get Spring Hill Road also in there.
Right. So thank you.
Yes, Trumbull Center, the trail connection through Trumbull Center. As you drive through Trumbull Center right now, you'll see a bunch of cones up. Progress is being made, actually pretty good. He's due to be complete just past Thanksgiving sometime. They expect that they'll be starting to work next week in the section at the island of Daniels Farm Road. There needs to be a crosswalk change and a crossing light put in. After they have agreed to wait to the end of the project as long as they can until when they actually go through the parking lot at the trail. That's going to be somewhat of a disruption of the trail, but they will use sections of it at a time so that the trail still becomes functional. There may be more limited parking than normal, but you know, we need to make that transition as quick as possible. This project also is a federally funded grant, and it has been also a long time in the making also. It took a long time to develop this plan. As Gary or Kent can attest to, they were involved in the design since 2014, I believe, Gary? Yeah. It's been a long time coming. It's the final connection of the trail, and it finishes up the trail from one end of Trumbull to the other. And it should be a big asset to the residents to be able to walk from Bridgeport to Monroe on a trail without traffic.
Great. Thank you, Bill. All of these public infrastructure projects, they address safety, additional access, and mobility. They create economic benefit through temporary construction jobs. Those workers also visit our businesses when they're working in town. So that spin-off benefit is really important, as well as just improving, again, the mobility, access, safety, and economic vitality of the town. So I think residents should be excited in some ways that all of this is really coming to fruition. I know I started with the town in 2016, and people told me, you know, that they'd been working on some of these traffic signals and lights and so forth for many, many years. So trying to get them accomplished, and, you know, the team here has been working really hard, and these projects are actually coming to fruition. So you've actually heard about when these lights are going to be installed and go to construction and be completed, so that you have a sense. If there's any questions regarding public infrastructure projects post this forum, Bill Maurer is always available, or myself, more on the economic development side. You can contact me, but Bill Maurer, you can contact Bill. Our full contact information is on our town website at www.trumbull-ct.gov. So thank you guys for the updates. Does anyone have anything to add before we leave the public infrastructure project discussion? Okay, so now we're going to turn to a discussion on some of our private development that's underway. And if you're driving around town, you'll see that there's construction probably in most sections of town. Some of it is extremely significant construction. It's well over probably $170 million worth of active construction in town. And again, the same comment, that brings jobs, that brings workers, that brings spin-off economic benefit while we're creating redevelopment in some cases or new development in our town that serves other purposes. The first project I wanted to highlight, and Bill Chin's going to help me, and I'm not a great photographer, so please, I wish I could have gotten better pictures. But you'll notice if folks have been over to the Trumbull Center area, what I think is a very good looking 21,000 square foot new plaza. It replaced an obsolete medical building that had been vacant. That was taken down and this project was built. The CVS is open. If you have not been in it, I think it's a really terrific CVS. It's a very modern style and layout and format that CVS is using, and we're lucky to have this new pharmacy in our Trumbull Center with a drive-through, I might add. Starbucks seems to be a pretty big hit. I stopped today while I was photographing, talked to some folks that were sitting on the patio that expressed being thrilled that the new patio is there and that they didn't envision such a nice Starbucks, but they were thrilled with it. So we do have 2 additional commercial spaces that you can see in the center that are not leased yet, but they are certainly being marketed. If anyone has any interest in those spaces that's listening, please contact me and I can get you in contact with the Donardo Enterprises who oversees that property and talk to you a little bit about that space as well. So we're going to go over to the former Marissa's restaurant site next. This is, again, Bill taught me post me doing these how to not square my pictures, Bill, but I didn't know this before today. So this is not a great depiction, but you get the point that the Long Hill Market, as it's called, the site of the former Marissa's restaurant, this is a 16,000 square foot plus commercial development. It will have approximately a 4,500 square foot restaurant and the Dunkin' Donuts will return. There is a salon that has signed on and there are other tenants being pursued for the site. There will be a drive-through to the rear of the property for the Dunkin' Donuts that is returning to the site. And in speaking with Mike Soretta today, who is the owner and developer of the property, and owns the adjacent plaza where Trumbull Pizza is and so forth. Mike said that they will be turning over their boxes to tenants in January, and they are looking at an opening in late spring, possibly early summer. Again, this is all weather, dependent for this new plaza, which is a really important development in our Long Hill Green. Because as you know, we had a vacant restaurant site that had deteriorated. So to have a new high quality plaza there with different kinds of businesses, I think is going to be great. And to have all the sidewalk connections and the light in that area that we discussed earlier will allow a lot more circulation in the area and visitation and pedestrian access as well. So we really look forward to that. We also are going to go over now to the Lindeman Drive, Oakview Drive area, Reservoir Avenue, and talk about those projects. The 10 Trumbull project on Oakview Drive is on the site of, it's on a 10-acre site. It formerly housed a vacant office building that Cannon Office had left, I think, in 2014. That site was a very old and out-of-date office site, about 70,000 square feet. and it was an obsolete structure. That structure was taken down in 2017. A 202 unit complex was approved. You see it here. It is 1 and 2 bedroom units with a clubhouse and a pool and other amenities. It is a gated community, and it is currently occupied at 70%. So there are 202 units approved. Approximately 139 of those units are already leased. There are 2 buildings that are not complete yet that will bring us to the grand total of 202 units. But it appears that the residents that are living there are enjoying their experience. We've talked to a number of them, and we're in an ongoing way monitoring the impact and the success of that development. If you go to that area, you'll notice that they installed significant sidewalks and new landscaping in and around the project. It's not totally completed yet because there's still construction underway. So that is the 10 Trumbull development on Oakview Drive. If you go across the street, still on Oakview Drive, there is Resort Lifestyle Communities has created a new community there. It's under development. It's actually called the River Valley Retirement Resort Community, but Resort Lifestyle Community is the developer out of Nebraska. They are under construction. This site was formerly, I believe, a 40,000 square foot vacant office building and then an undeveloped parcel of land where they merged those 2 parcels. They're under construction. This project will serve as an independent living facility for folks that are 55 or older. They will have a highly amenitized lifestyle there. One person said it's sort of like a cruise ship on land. It will have, local businesses creating little branches inside of there to give banking services and pharmacy services and hairstyling services. And they are focused on bringing local businesses in to serve within their doors. They gave me an update as of yesterday. They are starting the process of taking deposits for new residents now. They will start to sign leases around February 1st, envisioning an April 1st move in for their first residents. So that is all weather dependent and so forth, but you see a spring 2021 opening of this new facility, and there is significant landscaping that is planned for this area, and Rob LaBrandy, our town planner, worked hard with the Planning and Zoning Commission to make sure that sidewalk systems and landscaping and construction were tied together in this area to give it an overall improved look for the whole neighborhood. So again, you heard about our Long Hill Green Plan. We also have recently concluded a planning effort with all the property owners and businesses and some residents that participated for this area. And that plan is our roadmap for other improvement to this neighborhood as well. Anyone interested in a copy of that plan can contact Rob LaBrandy. His information is also again on our town website at www.trumbull-ct.gov. Right around the corner from this area is the former Henderson lumber, which is now called Woodside Development on Reservoir Avenue. If you're driving down Reservoir Avenue, you will see the townhouse structures to the road. This project, it was approved in 2018. They are not leasing units yet. They made a decision to wait till the new year to start occupying and leasing. So they expect that they will start leasing after the first of the year, and that they will have occupied units starting in the spring, and they hope to finish the construction by the end of next year. So this also is an amenitized property with a pool, a clubhouse, townhouse units to the street. That was something that our first selectman and our town staff felt it was important to have a more residential transition given the surrounding neighbors and neighborhoods. And then the property drops off to the rear where there will be, multi-level buildings to the rear. So again, this is Reservoir Avenue. These three projects that we just talked about in Reservoir Avenue create a mixed use environment, and they've helped us with some new business location to this area. We had a building right across the street from the Woodside development sold. There's a new early learning center in there. They invested $2.5 to $3 million in that building. It's been purchased, redeveloped, and a new business there. And one of the reasons that that early learning center decided to come to that area is that they saw that we were doing some mixed use projects there and implementing some multifamily housing there. And they know that the profile there is largely children ages 0 to 6. If there are children, that is the heavier profile of those families. And they saw that as a great market for themselves, in addition to having a great Trumbull location for their business. DaVita Dialysis, located right around the corner from the Oakview Drive developments. It opened recently, and they are on Cambridge, and they have constructed a beautiful facility there. And we've had a few other business expansions and locations, as I said, in that area, and we expect more. The property owners in that area, particularly the commercial property owners, are excited that there is an uptick in investment and activity, and they see that as an opportunity for their properties as well. So we're going to go over now to our Trumbull Corporate Park, which is, I think most folks know that our Trumbull Corporate Park, oh, I'm sorry, we have to go to Amazon first. I'm jumping ahead. So before we go to the Corporate Park, we're going to go up on Route 25, heading toward Monroe. You'll see, again, my bad photography here, but this is the former Reed's Warehouse building. This building is a 114,000 square foot building. It was vacant for probably a decade. Deteriorating. It was purchased in January of this past year, January of 2020, by Amazon for $7.5 million. They've invested at least $11 million into the redevelopment and construction of this property. This is what they call a last mile distribution center. It is operational. We are monitoring with our first selectman and our police chief and other town staff the traffic implications of this. We've been working closely with Amazon's economic development team. They've been excellent in terms of wanting to make sure that if there are any challenges that we're working together on them. Bill Maurer, our town engineer, and his staff is helping to brief Amazon on other improvements in that area so that we coordinate with that business and other businesses in the area when we start to do work on the Spring Hill Road area. So if you haven't gone by, I think that most folks would agree that this is an improved site that now is providing jobs and additional revenues to our grand list. We're going to now go over to the Trumbull Corporate Park, which is on the complete other end of town. So if you go to Route 8 and you get off of exit 11 and you take a right-hand turn and then another right-hand turn, you come down Merritt Boulevard into our corporate park. When I came here in 2018, there was 2016, there was a high level of vacancy. Also in this part of our business commercial area, this is actually an industrial zone. This building that you're looking at was formerly leased by Unilever. Unilever is still here in Trumbull, and they own a building across the street, but they had leased this building and they had given up this lease, and the building was vacant. It's approximately 64,000 square foot building at 50 Commerce Drive in our corporate park. Image First Healthcare Laundry is in the process of building out their new facility. This will be their second facility in Connecticut. They are going to provide over 100 new jobs to the area. We are working with their human resources staff to help on their production workforce and then their leadership workforce. We're also working with the Greater Bridgeport Transit District. I have to give a shout out to their executive director, Doug Holcomb, who has been helping us to reestablish bus service into our corporate park. It had been cut a few years back. He's also helping us closer to the Amazon site to increase bus service up Route 25 to service the Amazon facility and other businesses up that way, because he really understands that these are true economic development projects and that we need to work in partnership. So we thank him. So again, Image First Healthcare Laundry, they service hospitals, clinics, doctors' offices, linens. They have a sales force and a production workforce, and they expect to open in the coming weeks, actually. They're gearing up for a September, October opening. We're gonna go sort of down the street to 60 Commerce, and we're really excited that Make-A-Wish Foundation Connecticut has purchased the front of the 60 Commerce building. They had a presence in Trumbull at 126 Monroe Turnpike. They had, I think, just under 5,000 square feet there where their offices were, but they had a vision for a grander Connecticut headquarters that would service some of their client families and their clients in special ways on site. So they were looking for a home. They looked all over Southern Connecticut, and they wanted to stay in Trumbull, and we're happy they made that choice. The building and the grounds are still under construction. Their staff team has been occupying the building since February, but they are building out a dream area, a wishing floor. A wishing floor and some other really special areas of the building. They're going to activate the corporate park in various hours for walkathons and fundraisers and those kinds of things. They've already connected with other businesses and property owners in the corporate park. And we think their expansion Trumbull is very special and a definite enhancement to our corporate park. I want to pause and say that similar to the Long Hill Green area and the Oakview Drive area, our first selectman asked us to do a similar mini master plan for our corporate park because suburban office parks had high vacancy and needed to be turned around. So that plan is in final review and also guides improvements in that corporate park that we intend to make it a more dynamic place. And those improvements include projects, signage, policy changes. And one of the very neat things that happened there was as a part of the planning process, all of the property owners were being convened, and Dan Onofrio was on the call, and Gary Sorge were very involved with this. And the property owners and businesses have decided to form an association, and they've been taking the bull by the horns and leading that association and working together as tenants in that corporate park or property owners to do priority projects or advocate for things that they believe in for that corporate park. So that's a very positive change from high vacancy. We've had other locations in our new location businesses locate in our corporate park, including DBAT last December, which is a recreational type business where they train for softball and for baseball teams and individuals. It's a very cool facility and a different kind of use for our corporate park. So a lot's been going on there. And we have one more corporation that I'm going to just quickly update you on, that all of these corporations, Amazon, Image First Healthcare Laundry, the expansion of Make-A-Wish, and Power Home Remodeling, which you're going to hear about next, have all committed to expanding in Trumbull or locating in Trumbull this year. So we are still seeing a strong interest in our community and expanding corporate base despite some of the challenges that we know that all of our businesses are facing right now. So if we can go, Bill, to that last picture, I think it's just Power Home Remodeling. So Power Home Remodeling is taking up approximately 26,000 square feet right behind Make-A-Wish. So this is again in our Trumbull Corporate Park. They're moving here from Wilton, Connecticut. They are consolidating their headquarters. They're a national home remodeling company, and we're certainly happy that they've chose Trumbull as their home. So you'll be hearing more about that company as well in the future. I think that wraps up all of our approved and existing construction on the commercial side and so forth. It goes without saying that we have a lot of challenges. There's some new projects that are moving through the land use process. We're not necessarily reporting on anything that's not approved or underway today. For the project that some folks might be interested in regarding the mall, to the front of Main Street, there's a proposal working its way called Residences on Main, working their way through the land use process. The next public hearing for that project is 7 p.m. on September 24th. The information will be on the website, so folks can tune in for more information there. The project at 48 Monroe Turnpike is still, we're waiting to hear from the appellate court on the request for an appeal at a hearing at the appellate court. So that project is still very much in play, but it's not moving forward at the moment because we are waiting to hear from the appellate court on the appeal. So, and there are lots of other things underway that we'll be reporting out to you, as Vicki said, in future town hall meetings. If anybody has any questions regarding economic development, you can email me or call me. Public infrastructure projects, please contact Bill Maurer or Tatiana. They're always willing to help and try to answer questions. And okay, so I'm going to turn this over right now to Dan Onofrio. He is the president and CEO of the Bridgeport Regional Business Council. He's been a fantastic partner always since he's come. What is it, 2 Novembers ago, I want to say, Dan, and you've been a wonderful partner for us. And during this pandemic, he has done a tremendous job supporting economic development and all the projects, you know, that are going on, and trying to help us support our smaller businesses too during difficult times. So thanks for being with us, Dan.
Thank you, Rena, and thank you, Vicki, and everyone else on the call for inviting me here. It's been, as you know, an interesting year, to say the least, from a business perspective. But I think as we run our Trumbull Chamber meetings monthly, it's always an exciting time to hear from Rena and all the incredible projects that are going on in Trumbull amidst all of the uncertainty and difficulty that's going on. I can tell you from the businesses that we talk to, they're all very excited and committed to investing in Trumbull and looking to Trumbull as an opportunity to grow, as you've seen with some of the projects that were highlighted today. And I think you could just see that, you know, the ecosystem that's been created here under the leadership of Vicki and Rena and others to create a diversity of smart growth, if you will, between the diversity in the housing stock, these mixed use projects. It's a wonderful transition to see, and I think it gives a lot of confidence to people that are looking to either relocate or invest their business in Trumbull. So that gives us great confidence, and we look forward to seeing all these projects come to fruition as things develop. And then beyond that, you know, you probably have seen through Rena's office, the Economic Development and Community Development Office, they've been pushing out supporting local businesses. The Trumbull Chamber partnered with them a week or two ago to encourage people to shop local, right? And to support these businesses. As you can imagine, the smaller businesses, particularly the restaurants, are in need of some help. And as we go out to eat and go out to shop, you know, if you think Trumbull and celebrate Trumbull, if you will, I think that's the term that we've been using, celebrate local. You know, we encourage you to do so to help these businesses out, because the winter is coming. There is a bit of uncertainty on how long things will continue. So we all need to do our part to support this wonderful economy and the community that we live and work in. So as Rena pointed out, I'm always available for questions. through the Trumbull Chamber and the Bridgeport Regional Business Council. We've got a great network of business partners and community partners. We continue to advocate for all the wonderful things that are happening in Trumbull. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Dan. And thank you for mentioning the Celebrate Local initiative. I want to just give credit to Eve McGrath. She's on the Trumbull Economic and Community Development Commission, and an intern from Trumbull High School, Madeline Marsh, who have been assisting me with the Celebrate Local effort and trying to support our smaller local businesses. They're going out to various civic groups like the Rotary, the Trumbull Women's Group, and others, and encouraging them to market to their membership and push local, supporting the local businesses, buying local, and they're doing it in different ways. The Trumbull Senior Center and the Social Service Department is also doing that with their membership. So we don't have a lot of marketing money, so we're trying to be creative, get out to individual people and residents and really drive home the fact that our businesses need us. Buy local, order local, shop local. Keeping the money in our community has exponentially more return to all of us than sending our money wherever it goes when we are on the internet. So thank you, Dan, for supporting those efforts. I'm going to turn it over to Vicki for her closing remarks and some question and answer.
Thanks, Rena. I just want to thank our panel again for taking the time to be with us today and helping to share this information to our community. I hope that those who are watching now and those who may watch later have found this update for both our private development and our infrastructure helpful to all of you. I don't see any questions on our Q&A at this point. If anybody has something they want to ask, please feel free to do so in these final minutes. If not, if you have questions that come to you later on. Oh, I do see one. Hold on. So here's a question. It says, hello, just moved here about a year ago. Welcome to Trumbull. There are exciting updates. What is the plan strategy to fill new retail locations when there are so many current vacancies, i.e. in Trumbull Center? Does there seem to be positive momentum there?
I can speak to, we have the key to unlocking the real potential of Trumbull Center, I really think, is the transition that just happened with the new plaza at 965. Those businesses are moving across the street. That front building, there's a plan to eventually take that building down and open that plaza up. That is key to being able to attract businesses to want to locate in the rear of that area so that they have some visibility and what we call an advantage. So that's key. The trail that Bill talked about and the hard work that's gone into that will bring more walkers, pedestrians, and bicyclists and others in that area. The area will, there's some traffic calming measures. The trail itself is a measure, but other traffic calming measures for that area to make it more approachable and so forth. So I think that those changes are key to other positive changes that will go on there. But we have a new business that just opened, and I'll give them a plug, in Trumbull Center in July. Unique Beauty opened at 2 Daniels Farm Road, I want to say the first week of July. They've done a wonderful job with their space. We're trying to organize a ribbon cutting. Things are a little tough right now for gatherings, so we're trying to figure some of those celebrations out. But if you haven't been by there, they're over by the where Giovie's is and Fatty Patty in that area. And there are other businesses that have come. Bianco Rosso's been here now a while, but they're a great addition. They need our support. They've done such a beautiful job enhancing that corner. It was a really outdated restaurant structure, and they've really beautified that and made it an enhancement. And you're gonna, as those improvements start to happen, I think we're gonna see definitely more occupation of those areas. And we are all trying to work together to support that goal.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else want to answer any of that part of that question, or are we good to go? Okay. Bill, if I could just ask a question. I'm not sure that when you gave the Strobel Road update about the light on Strobel Road at Daniel's Farm, I know it's blinking now. Is there any, when will that become an active light? Do you know?
Well, typically they leave it blinking for a while just so people get used to a traffic light being there. They could go live, I believe, almost at any time. I believe that's correct, isn't that, Fred?
Yeah, like Bill said, the light is blinking, but there's two more operations that have to come into play. Is the DPW has to get together with the contractor for training how to operate the light. And the police department will get together with the contractor also, because the police will have manual override on the light during morning and afternoon school opening and closings. So even though there's a light there, the police will be able to control it to accommodate the traffic when that goes on. So functional, the light is ready to go, but town just needs to get their training. And if they want anything else tweaked with the timing, now's the time to do it while the contractor is still active on the project.
Great. And we will, as we said before, provide updates about the traffic in that Strobel Road area, especially now since school is reopened. We're going to make sure that everybody's aware of the changing traffic patterns. So people should check the town website, often to see those updates. We do have another question. It says, are there any concerns about traffic on Reservoir Avenue from the new apartment developments?
Yeah, I think Rob and Gary might want to speak to some of the improvements that are planned as part of the approvals in that area. Is Rob still on? Yeah, Rob and Gary, I don't know how you want to take it.
I think that the improvements are for those developments is, I know the police department had some traffic calming measures that were made out there, which are temporary. I know that the developments have enough room where they're gated to have queuing areas, so they're not going to obstruct any traffic when you're going into those apartments on Reservoir or along the Oakview Drive area over there. I don't know if Gary could talk about the potential traffic at Reservoir and Oakview or Lindeman.
Sorry about that. When each of the applicants came forward with their developments, they provide a traffic report to the town. The town then had our firm conduct a peer review of those traffic reports. And the third traffic report that came through was the one on the former Henderson Lumber site. So they were the last ones through the gate, with their traffic report. So the town had a peer review of that traffic report, taking into account the two projects up Lindeman at Oakview and at 10 Oakview. So all of that cumulative traffic was looked at, and also the impacts on Reservoir Road and White Plains Road. And the initial traffic reports and the peer review did not identify anything that was going to create any type of traffic impact beyond what you're currently experiencing, looking at the peak hours, weekend and weekday, but also looking at driveway configurations. And I believe one of the recommendations that came out of it was aligning the driveways of the new development on Reservoir with Lindeman Road, so that we had some coherence there, that it would be easier for pedestrians to cross the street, that you'd have clarity with cars approaching the intersection from all four directions. But the initial reviews were quite clean. And then the review that we conducted as a peer review came back with very minor comments. So not anticipating any traffic snarls at the location or on the adjacent intersections. Hope that was helpful.
Yes, thank you very much. So at this point, I don't see any more questions. Let me take one more look. So as of now, there aren't any more questions. So I just want to thank our panelists again for joining us today, providing this important update to our community. Just as a reminder to everyone who's watching, that this will be rebroadcast at your, when you'd like to go onto TCTV or onto YouTube, and you can rewatch this program and share it with your friends. So again, I want to thank our panelists, and just I will, as I said, we'll try to do our next one of these town hall virtual meetings in the evening. Anyone who would like to send suggestions onto topics that people would like to hear, we're more than happy to take that into consideration. So again, just echoing Rena and Dan, please shop local, shop at our local businesses. As Dan said, with the winter coming and the uncertainty that that will bring, we want to make sure that we take care of our own and that they take care of us. So well, hold on, we got another question. Oh, just someone saying thank you very much. Great job. Okay, so thank you, everybody. Have a rest of the good afternoon, and we will see you all soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.